probably doesn't work in consumer electronics, and that's a lesson, or something that many of the players have learned, and it took Apple to wake people up, unfortunately. But it happens. We live in a very competitive, very dynamic world, and it looks like people are willing to settle for something that is significantly less flexible. There is only one phone from one company, and so many people are dying to get it. What do you do? Now, we are not going to change our culture. We'll talk about that in a second. Because what we have forgotten about offering a fully flexible, open platform, in fact, this is even more open. You can change the code and so on. Other people have yet to learn. But we have worked over the past year and a half to try to create something that's the best of both worlds. And this is the short story that I'd like to tell you. And then hopefully you'll be able to see it in your own eyes. Yes, in this upcoming show. So I think the first thing that has happened in this world, irrespective of the iPhone story, and that's something that's true across the entire high-tech market, not just mobile, and that's the convergence of the screens. You hear different ways of describing it. You can call it cloud computing. You can call it 3 screens in a cloud. As we call it, myself, I think it's multi-screens in a cloud, because yes, there are these 3 categories: large screen, medium-sized screen, small screen. But if you look at the number of devices that fit into those buckets, there are lots of devices. And I think that this convergence enabled by the cloud is something that's changing the rules of the games in a very fundamental way. The type of experiences that used to be islands are no more. And it's up to us to invent things that haven't been thought yet. Now, examples of experiences, like Yoram told me, Yoram is going to be on one of the panel. He's the CTO of the LDC and a longtime friend. He told me, don't tell them the story about starting to view a TV show on the large screen and then going out of home and continuing to see it on the small screen. So I'm not going to tell you that story as an example of 3 screens in a cloud. But it's actually hard to come up with stuff that you'd say, wow, I haven't thought about that. But some of the experiences that are already enabled, if you take something like console gaming, right, Xbox, from day one, we thought about this experience, the gaming experience, as being a group, a community experience. We built Xbox Live. It was the first console that came out with a subscription service that enabled people to connect and communicate and do things together. Today, you can do that on the large screen, and you can play the same game with your buddies, with your team, whatever, on a medium-sized screen. Why shouldn't we be able to play that game across all screens? No good reason. Now imagine the type of experience that you can implement if the small screen actually has location built into the experience. What can you do? What kind of interesting, rich experiences can you create when you start bringing that type of information into the experience? You can take any type of entertainment experience and start building that type of interaction that is not possible when we think about this island, the set of islands that we used to live in. So, how are we thinking about changing our own game? There are 3 areas that we focus on as we go forward with our platform development. The first one is design. So, who are the customers for a mobile platform? Any mobile platform. Who do you actually sell to? Everybody. That's a good one. Who is actually paying you? So the folks we used to think, we probably were wrong, but we used to think that the folks who paid us were the network operators and the handset manufacturers. Those are the folks with a pocket in their wallet, at least the pocket that we see. Now, when you think in this way, you try to optimize for their priorities. If they want to be able to, to change everything about the home screen, you give them the tools to do that. If they want to start taking core pieces of the experience, like the browsing experience, and change it altogether, you give them that opportunity. What is the end result from the end user? You pick up the phone and you don't know where you are. You go into a browsing session, then you get a message, you go into the email, there is a link in the email, you press on the link, you get a totally different browser. That's the result of enabling this total flexibility. How do you share music with your buddies, right? There are phones today you can buy in the market that will have 2 or 3 different players. Which one do you use? Maybe the one that the handset manufacturer created is the one on the home screen. But when you get a song from your social network, it will come and use a different player, because nobody has done the work to integrate these experiences across. So one of the decisions we have made is that the end user comes first no matter what. Now ultimately, it is to the benefit of the operators and the handset vendors, because those phones that people will be able to use, they're going to be well integrated, simple, are those phones that are going to sell in the largest numbers. That is one of the issues we're seeing today already with the open source environments. You have the open source version of Motorola. I think it's called Click. You have the open source version of HTC. I don't know what it's called. They have a name for it. There is another one from Samsung. And that's one of the things that we have learned that doesn't work. Now, you do want to create the ability to add value, but you have to do that while preserving those core experiences. What are core experiences? Messaging, browsing, search, music, gaming. The meaning of a core experience is no matter which part of the experience I'm looking at my contacts. I want to do something. I want to send a clip. I want to send a message. I want to send a photo. You will always have the same consistent experience. Very, very important. The other area is what we call the platform. And this is really the story for the handset vendors and the ISVs. It's the type of environment that enables them to maximize the opportunity to add value. There are 3 types of environments that are part of that vision. One of them is very familiar. It's familiar to many millions of developers, and that's .NET. Another one is Silverlight. Silverlight is an environment that allows you to create the richest, most engaging, animated, and a whole bunch of other aspects of the experience on those phones. And the last one, which is maybe one of the most important given the statistics that we saw before, is called XNA. How many people have heard about XNA? Nobody. Great. XNA is the games development environment for Xbox. I don't know how many people know that today you can develop a game on Xbox, the same game with XNA. That game, by the way, gets uploaded to the marketplace on Xbox. The same game works on the PC, and the same game works on Zune, which is a mobile platform. It's not a phone, but it's a mobile platform. In the future, that same environment will work on the phone as well. Now think about the value to the ISV, to the developer. Develop once, run across all screens. Hey, we talked about the fact that those screens need to be connected anyway. Why would I use one tool set to build applications, games, for one environment and not have access to the other one? Now, not all things make sense to all screens, but let's not limit that option.